Have you ever been told that you should just eat everything in moderation and everything will be fine? It's a comforting idea, isn't it? You might remember walking past a fast food joint, smelling the fries sizzling in oil, or grabbing that bag of salty chips at the grocery store, telling yourself, just this once, just a little. It won't hurt. And maybe it didn't. Not right away. We've all been there. We're human. We crave convenience, comfort, and flavor. But here's the thing most of us were never told. Some foods don't just add a few extra pounds or cause indigestion. They quietly chip away at the very core of our well-being, our heart. It's easy to believe that heart disease is mostly about genetics, age, or stress. But what if I told you that what's actually on your plate, day after day, plays a far bigger role than you realize? For years, we've been taught to fear the obvious villains: greasy burgers, sugary donuts, and overly processed meals in a box. But what if the real threat doesn't always look like junk food? What if the danger is hiding in your favorite breakfast cereal? In that low-fat yogurt you thought was a healthier choice? Or even in foods marketed as heart-healthy? Yes, some of the foods we've come to trust may be silently raising your blood pressure, clogging your arteries, and putting immense stress on your heart. And most of the time, we don't feel it happening. Not until it's too late. That's why today's video is so important. I'm going to share with you 10 of the most dangerous foods for your heart and why you should consider removing or replacing them starting right now. These aren't just scary headlines or random guesses. This is based on science, real case studies, and what many doctors are now warning us about, especially as heart disease remains the one cause of death worldwide. But don't worry, this isn't about guilt or fear. It's about awareness. Because when you know better, you can do better. And when you make even small changes to what you eat, the impact on your heart health can be huge. So before we dive in, take a moment to click that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Your heart deserves more than guesswork. It deserves the truth and the tools to keep beating strong for many years to come. Now, if you're ready to take charge of your heart health and find out which everyday foods could be sabotaging your well-being, type 2 in the comments. And if you're still unsure, type 3. Either way, your response helps shape a community of people who are choosing to live more consciously. All right, let's get into it. Because your next meal could be either your greatest ally or your silent enemy. Some of these foods may already be in your kitchen, maybe even on your plate right now. A bowl of healthy cereal you've been eating for years. A slice of white toast that's part of your daily routine. Or that seemingly innocent coffee creamer you add to your cup each morning without even thinking twice. We've grown up trusting labels, trusting packaging. We see words like low-fat, heart-healthy, cholesterol-free, or light, and we breathe a sigh of relief. But here's a hard truth that most food companies won't tell you. Many of these so-called safe foods are wolves in sheep's clothing, ultra-processed, chemically preserved, or overloaded with hidden sugars and trans fats. They slowly raise your blood pressure. They inflame your blood vessels. They clog your arteries drop by drop. And they silently overwork your heart, the very organ that's keeping you alive every second of every day. And yet, you wouldn't even suspect them, because they're not deep-fried. They're not soaked in visible grease. They don't look dangerous. That's what makes them even more insidious. You see, heart disease doesn't arrive with a loud warning. It doesn't always announce itself with pain or discomfort until it's too late. The truth is, every bite you take is either healing your heart or hurting it. The good news? You're not powerless. Once you know what these hidden threats are, and more importantly, how to replace them, you take back control. One smart choice at a time. One meal at a time. One heartbeat at a time. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 10 foods are quietly sabotaging your heart health, and what you can do today to protect yourself and your loved ones. And believe me, Some of the items on this list may completely surprise you. You might even be eating them right now, thinking you're making the healthy choice. So if you're still here, type "I'm ready" in the comments. If this feels a bit overwhelming or scary, just type "Tell me the truth." You never know, your message might be the sign someone else needs to wake up and take their health seriously too. Because the biggest enemy to heart health isn't just the food itself. It's not knowing what's really in it. Now, let's begin with the first food, a beloved breakfast favorite that's been marketed as healthy for decades, but might actually be one of the most dangerous things on your morning plate. 1. Processed meats, like bacon, sausages, and deli meats. They might be staples of weekend breakfasts or quick sandwiches, but processed meats are some of the worst offenders when it comes to heart health. Yes, they're convenient and flavorful, smoky bacon, juicy sausages, or that perfectly sliced deli ham, but behind the taste hides a silent threat. These meats are often packed with sodium, nitrates, and unhealthy fats. Sodium increases blood pressure, and when consumed daily in large amounts, it becomes a ticking time bomb for your cardiovascular system. Nitrates, the very compounds used to preserve and color these meats, have been linked to inflammation and arterial damage, two of the root causes of heart disease. Ever felt your chest feel tight after a salty meal, or found your fingers puffed up the next morning? That could be your body retaining water from excess sodium, putting added stress on your heart as it tries to pump harder. Over time, this can silently pave the way for hypertension and arterial stiffness. My uncle used to enjoy a plate of bacon and eggs every morning until his doctor showed him how quickly his cholesterol levels were climbing. Swapping out the processed meats for leaner protein sources like grilled chicken or tofu made a dramatic difference in just a few months. Beyond the science, think about the emotional cost. A heart attack doesn't announce itself. It shows up when you're laughing with your kids or on a quiet Sunday walk. And often, it's years of daily choices that lead to that moment. So next time you reach for that sandwich meat, consider this: your heart deserves better. Try roasted turkey breast you season yourself, or prepare a batch of herbed lentil patties for a week's worth of healthy lunches. Your future self will thank you beat by beat. 2. Sugary beverages, sodas, sweetened teas, energy drinks. Sugary drinks have long been a part of our routines: an iced soda on a hot day, sweetened tea during lunch, or an energy drink to push through that afternoon slump. But behind the fizz and flavor lies one of the most dangerous threats to your heart health. These beverages are often loaded with added sugars, delivering a massive spike to your blood glucose levels within minutes. That rush may feel energizing at first, but it's followed by a crash that leaves you tired, irritable, and craving more. Worse, these sugar surges place enormous stress on your pancreas and blood vessels, gradually increasing insulin resistance and inflammation. It's not just about weight gain or empty calories. Over time, regular consumption of sugary drinks has been linked to higher risks of high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and heart attacks, even in people who otherwise seem healthy. A friend of mine used to swear by his daily can of soda until his doctor found early signs of metabolic syndrome at just 39. He swapped soda for sparkling water with a splash of lemon, and within weeks, noticed more stable energy and even better focus at work. Don't underestimate the power of hydration. Reaching for water or unsweetened herbal tea instead can be a quiet revolution in your daily habits. And if you miss the sweetness, try infusing water with berries or citrus. It's refreshing, naturally flavorful, and helps you stay ahead of cravings. More than just a drink, many of these sugary beverages become emotional crutches, tied to comfort, celebration, or routine. But ask yourself, is a few minutes of sweetness worth years of heart trouble? Sometimes the most nourishing change starts with what you don't pour into your glass. Choose wisely, your heart is listening. 3. Trans fats, found in margarine, baked goods, fried foods. We've heard about trans fats for years, warnings on margarine tubs, labels on packaged snacks, but the danger they pose to your heart is far from outdated. In fact, trans fats remain one of the most harmful ingredients still hiding in many everyday foods. They're often found in items we reach for without thinking: flaky pastries, crispy fried chicken, or that tub of margarine used for quick breakfasts. But even small amounts of trans fats can raise your LDL bad cholesterol while lowering your HDL good cholesterol, a dangerous combination that increases your risk of heart attack, stroke, and clogged arteries. Unlike naturally occurring fats, trans fats are artificially created through a process called hydrogenation, which extends shelf life but shortens your health span. They can trigger inflammation in blood vessels, stiffen your arteries, and silently build plaque that narrows the pathways your heart depends on. One of my older neighbors used to enjoy fried snacks every afternoon. When his doctor finally convinced him to cut back on foods with hydrogenated oils, he noticed within weeks that his chest discomfort lessened and his energy improved. All he did was switch to baking with olive oil and choosing whole food snacks instead of packaged ones. Don't be fooled by clever packaging. Zero trans fat can still mean trace amounts per serving. Always check for ingredients like partially hydrogenated oils and avoid them where possible. Trans fats aren't just bad for the heart, they're also linked to memory decline and chronic fatigue. But more importantly, they rob you of the chance to feel strong and energized in your daily life. So before grabbing that golden donut or frozen pie, take a pause. Ask yourself, is this moment of taste worth the toll it could take on your heart? There are better options: crunchy roasted nuts, fresh fruit, or even homemade treats made with real butter and whole ingredients. You don't have to give up joy. Just trade it for the kind that fuels your heart, not fights it. 4. White bread and refined carbs. Now let's turn our attention to a food that feels like home for many: white bread. Whether it's the toast you grew up with or the sandwich roll you grab in a hurry, refined carbohydrates are deeply woven into our daily meals. But while they might bring comfort, they offer little comfort to your heart. White bread, pasta, pastries, and other refined carbs are stripped of their natural fiber, meaning they're digested quickly and spike your blood sugar almost immediately. This sudden rise and fall in glucose levels not only leaves you feeling tired and hungry again, but also places a heavy burden on your heart over time. What many people don't realize is that these carbs behave in the body much like sugar. They increase insulin levels, promote fat storage, especially around the belly, and can lead to insulin resistance, a key contributor to heart disease. One older friend of mine used to start every morning with 2 slices of white toast and jam. It seemed harmless until his cardiologist explained how refined carbs were silently raising his triglyceride levels. Once he swapped to whole grain toast topped with avocado or a boiled egg, he felt fuller longer and noticed his afternoon cravings disappear. Whole foods rich in fiber digest more slowly, providing steady energy and protecting blood vessels from inflammation and damage. Even small changes, like replacing white rice with quinoa or using oats instead of white flour in baking, can build a healthier foundation for your heart. And there's more to it than just science. The golden crust of a baguette or the softness of white rolls may bring back warm memories, but nourishment should move beyond nostalgia. So the next time you reach for a sandwich, ask yourself, is this slice supporting my health or slowly wearing it down? Your heart works hard for you. Return the favor with choices that strengthen, not strain it. True wellness isn't about deprivation. It's about finding joy in foods that love you back. 5. Deep-fried foods, French fries, fried chicken, etc. Few things are as tempting as the golden crunch of French fries or the crispy skin of freshly fried chicken. These foods often remind us of comfort, celebration, or quick indulgence, but what they leave behind in your body can be far from comforting. Deep-fried foods are often soaked in unhealthy oils, many of which are reused multiple times in restaurants, making them even more toxic. These oils are rich in trans fats and oxidized compounds that increase bad cholesterol LDL, lower the good HDL, and promote chronic inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. What many people overlook is how deep frying changes the very structure of food. Once nutritious ingredients can become harmful when submerged in hot oil. A simple potato transforms from a potassium-rich vegetable into a heart-clogging calorie bomb when deep-fried. I once had a cousin who loved his weekend bucket of fried chicken until he began experiencing shortness of breath after light activity. His doctor explained how years of fried food had silently thickened his blood vessels. He switched to grilled chicken, oven-roasted potatoes, and within months, not only did his cholesterol drop, but so did his blood pressure. The good news? You don't have to give up your favorite textures. With today's air fryers or baking techniques, you can recreate the crispiness you crave without drowning your food in oil. A batch of sweet potato fries tossed with olive oil and spices can be just as satisfying and infinitely kinder to your heart. And there's an emotional side too. Fried food often feels nostalgic, a treat linked to family dinners or weekend rituals. But as we grow wiser, our food choices can evolve too. So the next time that deep fryer calls your name, pause and consider, is the crunch worth the cost to your heart? Small shifts can lead to lasting protection, bite by bite, choice by choice. 6. High-sodium packaged foods, instant noodles, frozen meals. There's a certain convenience to tearing open a packet of instant noodles or popping a frozen dinner into the microwave after a long day. These foods promise speed and simplicity, but behind their quick preparation hides a slow and dangerous toll on your heart. Most packaged meals are loaded with sodium, far beyond what your body actually needs. And unlike the salt you sprinkle by hand, this kind is hidden in flavor packets, preservatives, and sauces. It quietly raises your blood pressure, stiffens your arteries, and increases your risk of heart failure over time. One bowl of instant noodles can contain more than half, or even all, of your recommended daily sodium intake. Frozen pizzas, canned soups, and ready-to-eat meals often pack even more. They may satisfy your hunger, but they do so at the cost of your heart's long-term health. A close friend of mine used to rely heavily on frozen dinners due to a busy work schedule. But after experiencing frequent headaches and dizziness, a doctor visit revealed borderline hypertension. By simply cooking simple meals in bulk with fresh ingredients and using herbs instead of salt, she not only felt better but regained control over her health. What's troubling is that these foods are often marketed as healthy or balanced, when in reality, they're engineered for shelf life, not heart life. The excessive sodium pulls water into your blood vessels, making your heart pump harder, an invisible burden that adds up over time. There's no denying the emotional pull of convenience. These meals offer a kind of comfort, quick fixes for long days. But there are smarter ways to find ease without putting your heart at risk. Prepping your own freezer meals, or choosing low-sodium options can make a real difference, without demanding much time. So next time you're tempted by that instant solution, remember, your heart isn't in a hurry. Give it the care it deserves, one mindful bite at a time. 7. Red meat, especially in excess. Red meat has long held a central place on dinner plates around the world. Steaks sizzling on the grill, a juicy burger on a weekend outing, or a hearty roast shared with family. It's flavorful, rich, and deeply satisfying. But when consumed in excess, it can quietly become one of the most harmful choices for your heart. While red meat does provide protein and essential nutrients, like iron and vitamin B12, it's also high in saturated fats and cholesterol. These elements, when eaten too often, can raise LDL, bad cholesterol levels, stiffen blood vessels, and accelerate plaque buildup, major contributors to heart disease. The real risk comes not just from one steak, but from a pattern: red meat every day, with little balance from plant-based proteins or vegetables. I once spoke with an elderly gentleman who prided himself on eating beef at nearly every meal. When his cardiologist showed him his artery scans, the visual alone convinced him to make changes. Now, he swaps beef for lentil stew a few times a week and includes more fish and greens, and he says he feels lighter, with more energy than he's had in years. There's also growing research around compounds in red meat, like carnitine, that may alter gut bacteria in ways that increase inflammation and damage blood vessels. Even lean cuts aren't entirely off the hook when eaten too frequently. But this doesn't mean you must banish red meat forever. It means shifting your mindset. Think of red meat as an occasional treat rather than a daily staple. Choose lean cuts, smaller portions, and balance them with fiber-rich sides like beans, vegetables, or whole grains. And yes, the emotional connection is real. A roast shared during holidays or a burger at a family barbecue carries meaning beyond nutrients. But those moments are made special because they're rare, not routine. So if your heart could speak, it might ask not for you to give up flavor, but to find it in new ways, ways that support strength, not strain. Your plate has the power to heal or to harm. Choose what lifts you up. 8. Commercial baked goods, cakes, pastries, donuts. There's something undeniably comforting about the smell of a warm pastry, the soft sweetness of a donut, or the first bite of a fluffy slice of cake. These treats often accompany our happiest moments, birthdays, celebrations, morning coffee. But behind their sugary charm lies a silent threat to your heart. Commercial baked goods are often made with a dangerous trio: refined sugar, white flour, and unhealthy fats, especially trans fats. This combination not only spikes your blood sugar but also increases LDL, bad cholesterol, and promotes inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. Unlike homemade versions, store-bought pastries and cakes are designed for long shelf life, not heart health. They frequently contain hydrogenated oils and preservatives that quietly chip away at your arteries. Even just one muffin or donut can deliver more saturated fat and sugar than your body can comfortably process in a day. A friend of mine used to reward herself with a donut after each grocery trip, just a small habit, she thought. But over time, she noticed she was always sluggish afterward. Once she replaced her treat with a square of dark chocolate and a handful of almonds, her energy steadied and her cravings faded. The issue isn't indulgence. It's frequency. When these ultra-processed baked goods become daily habits instead of occasional pleasures, they weigh heavily on the heart, literally and figuratively. You can still enjoy the joy of baking. Try homemade alternatives using oats, whole grains, and heart-healthy oils like olive or avocado. Natural sweeteners like mashed banana or a drizzle of honey can provide the sweetness your palate craves without the metabolic chaos. There's no shame in craving sweetness. It's human. But giving your heart something it can actually thrive on is the greater act of self-care. So next time you walk past that pastry case, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is it worth the spike, the crash, and the hidden harm? Joy doesn't have to come in a box. Sometimes, the sweetest thing you can do for yourself is say no, and mean it with love. 9. Full-fat dairy products, butter, cream, certain cheeses. Creamy, rich, and indulgent, full-fat dairy products like butter, cream, and aged cheeses often bring comfort and depth to our meals. From the buttery layer on warm toast to the silky swirl of cream in your coffee, these foods are hard to resist. But when it comes to heart health, these indulgences can carry a hidden cost. Full-fat dairy is high in saturated fat, which has been closely linked to raised LDL, bad cholesterol levels, a major contributor to plaque buildup in your arteries. Over time, this can increase the risk of heart attack, stroke, and other cardiovascular conditions. A neighbor of mine once said she couldn't imagine breakfast without her thick pat of butter. It was her morning ritual. But after a heart screening revealed narrowing arteries, she began using mashed avocado and olive oil spread instead. Within months, not only did her cholesterol numbers improve, but she also noticed she felt lighter and more energized throughout the day. The trouble with full-fat dairy isn't just the fat. It's also the quantity we consume without noticing. A small cube of cheese here, a splash of cream there, and suddenly your daily intake of saturated fat has doubled. And though dairy offers calcium and protein, there are many heart-friendlier ways to get those nutrients, from leafy greens to fortified plant-based options. That said, the emotional comfort of dairy is real. A slice of brie on a special occasion or a holiday dessert made with cream can feel like a hug in edible form. The key is moderation and mindfulness. Choose low-fat or plant-based alternatives when possible, and use full-fat dairy sparingly as a treat, not a staple. Your heart doesn't ask you to give up everything you love, it simply asks for balance. And when you choose foods that nourish your body as much as your spirit, you're giving it the best of both worlds. So, spread love, but maybe not butter, on your toast. 10. Alcohol, especially in excess or daily consumption. At last, we arrive at the final and perhaps most socially accepted entry on the list, alcohol. It's poured in celebration, offered in comfort, and often seen as a harmless ritual to unwind at the end of the day. But when it comes to your heart, alcohol can quickly shift from friend to foe. Many believe that a glass of wine a day is good for the heart. And while some studies suggest moderate red wine may have benefits, the key word is moderate, and that's where many of us stumble. For most people, just one drink slowly becomes 2, then 3, and over time, daily consumption quietly takes root. Alcohol in excess can raise your blood pressure, increase triglycerides, weaken the heart muscle, and trigger irregular heart rhythms, silent forces that can lead to heart attacks or strokes. Heavy drinking can also interfere with medications and contribute to weight gain, especially around the abdomen, which further stresses the cardiovascular system. I once spoke with a retired teacher who enjoyed a nightly glass of whiskey. After experiencing episodes of heart palpitations, her doctor advised a break from alcohol. She replaced her evening ritual with herbal tea and a book. At first, she missed the warmth of the drink, but within weeks, her sleep improved, her energy returned, and the palpitations stopped. The emotional side of alcohol is powerful. A glass of wine at dinner or a toast at a celebration carries joy, tradition, and connection. And there's no need to fear an occasional drink when consumed mindfully. But daily or excessive intake can slowly chip away at heart health in ways you don't feel until it's too late. So rather than cutting joy out of your life, consider redefining it. Find comfort in other rituals, a calming walk, a conversation with a friend, a flavorful mocktail that lifts your mood without taxing your body. Your heart doesn't crave wine. It craves peace, rhythm, and rest. Give it what it truly needs, not what habits have taught you to reach for. Because protecting your heart is not just about restriction, it's about intention. Sometimes, it's the everyday convenience foods, those boxed, bottled, or frozen items we've grown up with, that quietly erode heart health over time. It's easy to overlook them when they seem harmless, especially in small amounts. But habits built on just a little can add up to damage that's difficult to reverse. Processed meats, sugary drinks, deep-fried snacks, and refined carbs might not cause immediate harm. You won't feel your arteries clogging or your blood pressure rising the moment you bite into a salty frozen dinner or sip a sweetened tea. But day after day, they compound their effect, especially as we age and our bodies become less forgiving. And don't forget that natural doesn't always mean healthy. A product labeled organic can still be high in sodium, saturated fat, or hidden sugars. Low fat might mean extra additives. Even foods we associate with comfort or reward, like pastries, creamy cheeses, or a nightly glass of wine, can quietly burden the heart when consumed too often. This isn't about fear. It's about clarity, about choosing better, not perfect. Think of your heart not just as an organ, but as the steady rhythm that powers your entire life. Everything you do to protect it, every conscious swap, every mindful decision, adds to your vitality, longevity, and sense of control. So let this list be your compass, not a punishment. Not everything needs to be eliminated, but everything deserves attention. Because in the end, awareness leads to balance. And balance leads to a stronger, healthier heart. I've seen many individuals, especially in their golden years, take back control of their health one meal at a time. They didn't panic or try to change everything overnight. Instead, they made one mindful choice, then another, switching from daily soda to sparkling water with lemon, swapping out frozen fried snacks for oven-roasted vegetables, or choosing whole grain bread over white. These small shifts didn't just help their hearts, they reignited their confidence. What's most powerful isn't restriction, it's understanding. When you learn what foods quietly harm your heart, you also learn what to reach for instead. You begin to craft meals with purpose. Your pantry becomes a source of energy, not fear. And every heart-healthy choice adds up: less fatigue, more stability in blood pressure, and maybe even a little bounce in your step you hadn't felt in years. Some people start by eliminating just one item from today's list. Maybe it's the sweetened tea that sneaks in every afternoon, or the frozen meals that seemed like a quick fix but now feel like a hidden threat. Others focus on moderation, cutting back on red meat, or enjoying a glass of wine only on special occasions. The path is personal, and that's what makes it powerful. If you've made it this far, you're already on the right track. You're not avoiding joy, you're reclaiming your health. You're choosing a future where your heart supports you for years to come, not one where it holds you back. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 10 foods surprised you the most? Is there one you're ready to cut back on, or maybe replace with a heart-healthier option? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If today's insights were helpful, just type "helpful" below. If you're unsure or think something's missing, type "question" and let me know what you'd like to understand better. I'm here to help. Don't forget to like this video if it brought value to your day, and subscribe if you're hungry for more practical health tips coming soon. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll explore everyday spices, some that heal, and some that secretly harm, depending on how you use them. Stay well, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.